Yes, students, with regarding to web technologies, we have already started with fourth unit, and we have discussed some of the topics in fourth unit. Now, as a part of these video sessions, I am going to review those topics once. After that, we will start our new topic. In the fourth topic, that is creating and using of forms. As we know that it is very important scenario of creating forms with web application. In every web environment, whenever we are considering any kind of a web application, so the most important aspect in web application is creating the forms. So what is the most important aspect of creating web applications is the creating the forms. Now how we create the forms is, we all know that we create the forms using the form element. This is what I am been highlighting here. This is the form tag which is called as form element. Using this form element, we will be creating the forms. So that is, a form means it comprises of text boxes, check boxes, radio buttons. As we all know, as we are now using the computer system for performing different kinds of an applications. In order to submit the fees, to pay the fees for your examinations, you will be moving to internet, opening SBI Collect, and then providing your details, where they will be there. You will be seeing different types of text boxes, different types of selection items, different types of radio buttons. In order to select the different types of elements or the different types of content what we need to use with that particular web page. So in order to create those web pages in the form, what we are having is, we will be having a simple text box which is used to enter the text, a password text box, that is to enter the passwords, and if we want to have any selection items, that can be represented with the help of a drop down box called as an selection. If we need to maintain list of items, we will be using list controller, and as we know familiarly, checkbox, radio buttons, and the submit button used to submit data, and a reset button used to clear all the fields that are being provided in the form. Apart from these, there are also several other controls. So these are the most main controls that are being included in the form. So in order to understand these, we will go through an example, that is already we have been executed a program. Already we have executed a program in our previous lab sessions, that is creating a registration form. Similarly, now in these sessions, I will be explaining you creating a login page. So in general, whenever we open to our Gmail application, or whenever you open to your Facebook application, what are the simple things that you observe in order to enter into Gmail, or in order to enter into login pages? You need to provide your username and you need to provide your password. So taking that as an example, we will be creating such a page. So in order to create a web page, we will be using HTML tags, and then now we will be using this form element to create a login page. So as we all know, HTML, so these are HTML, and then body. Within the body, we will be creating a form. So using this form tag, creating a form. As per, I am giving the form name of the form as login, and what are the attributes that are included in the form is, the two important attributes is method attribute and action attribute. So we will coming to this in the next example, what for the method attribute is, what for the action attribute is. Now in order to create a login page, how the login page will be looking like is, the login page will be looking in this scenario. So our program login.php, when it gets executed, it is displaying an username with a text box, password with a text box, and a submit button. So these usernames and password are called as labels. So labels are created by using a form element called label. So label, and then providing an attribute for, this is just identification of a label, and then label username. Similarly, in order to create the text box, that is what we provided here, this is the text box to enter our username, to enter our password. That is, these text boxes are represented by using input type equals to text for text box. Now as of password, we will be representing the password, input type equals to password. In order to create buttons, we will be representing input type equals to submit. So these are the form elements that we have been using to create a login page. One is a label, and the other one is, that is a simple text box, and the other one is password input box, and the other one is submit button. So likewise, using these form elements, we will be creating different types of forms with regarding to web applications. So this is how, after executing this program, this is how we are getting the output of that program. So now, as earlier we have stated that there is an attributes, that is attribute method and then action attribute. Now, what is the importance of that method attribute? So this is the login page that get executed. Now what happens with the Gmail or a Facebook application is, we have been giving our email ID and then we have been giving our password and then we click on the submit button. So whenever we give our email ID, whenever we produce our password and click on submit button, immediately the email ID and the password are to be validated at server side. Means the data which we are entering in our form will be transferred to another system. So who is responsible for carrying the data is the method here, whatever the method attribute here, this method attribute is responsible for carrying the data. So coming to the method, what the methods we have been using is, we will be using the two methods, get method or post method. We can use any of the methods. So we can use the get method, we can use the post method. So how we are using the get method and the post method is, in the name field we will be representing form name equals to login, here method equals to get or method equals to post. We can use any of the methods. We can write get method or we can write post method. What happens when we use the method get or post is, the data which we entered in the form, suppose if the here username I am giving abc@gmail.com and then password as 1234. Now when I click on submit button, this get or the post method will take this data to the server. So what is then why we are having the two methods? Why can't we represent the one method? Is the significance of these two methods is, so get and post are the two methods. The significance of these two methods is, using get method, the data which we are entering, this abc@gmail.com 1234 the password, these using get method, whatever the data we are entering in the form, all the data will be appended to the URL. That means when I click on this submit button, there will be the URL coming www.gmail.login, gmail.login. With this login, here we are becoming username equals to abc@gmail.com, password equals to 1234. Within the URL of our website, within the URL of that website, whatever the data we are been giving here, this data will be available. That is, it is the data is visible in the URL. When the data is visible in the URL, there is a chance to hack that data. So that is why the get method is not supported to use and it is not encouraged.